Hey folks, Will here again with Happily Ever Outdoors. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at the limited edition Gerber Strongarm. This comes in a tactical gray color, and the big difference between this and the original Gerber Strongarm is that this comes in a upgraded BDZ-1 stainless steel. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw some of the specs up on the screen for this knife, but if you're already familiar with the Gerber Strongarm, a design that's been around for a good while now, there are really no changes to this. It's going to be the exact same rubber coated handle. You can see has a diamond texture to it. Really good grip even in wet, oily, cold conditions. It's going to grip really well. And just like you see with the original Strongarm, I think you've got a really well designed handle here. It's got nice swells where you would expect them to be. I even like a little bit of a cutout there in the middle. Depending on what grip you're using, you can really get a good hold on this thing. And it's very comfortable in the hand. This is full tang construction. You can see the tang actually comes all the way through to the end, and there's an integrated glass break pommel right there with a lanyard hole. You've also got the exact same blade shape, grind, style, everything that you see with the original Gerber Strongarm, and the same sheath retention system. You see you've got those two indentions right there on either side, so this will fit into the sheath ambidextrously depending on how you have it mounted, or whether it's on your left hip or your right hip. Very easy, very interchangeable, no modifications. You've also got the exact same modular sheath system that you see with the original Strongarm. You can see the strap right there where you can hang it from your hip, or you could attach it to a pack, a vest, something like that. That way you can remove this larger piece and just use that smaller strap, or you can completely take this strap off. You could mount this on your belt horizontally like that if you wanted to wear it behind your back. You could also mount it onto a strap like this vertically or pointed down. You could also completely remove the strap and this back piece if you wanted to just take this sheath by itself, drop it in a pack, or lash it to a piece of gear somehow. You could do that as well. So really versatile, the same quality, really functional sheath that you're used to. If you've held a Gerber Strongarm before, you've got the exact same thing here. So this isn't going to be a full review on this knife. I've actually only had it for a few days, but I thought it was important to go ahead and get some kind of a video out for you all. This is going to be a limited production run knife that Gerber is putting out. So they are actually only producing 2,000 of these. With the Gerber Strongarm, the original Gerber Strongarm, although it is very durable and extremely difficult to break, there were some complaints with keeping it sharp. That the steel was a little bit tough to really get a good sharp edge on it. I've never had any issues maintaining a good enough edge to work for most utility purposes, but I will agree with the original Gerber Strongarm that it was a little bit tougher to kind of manipulate it and really get that razor sharp edge for doing more detailed tasks. Now bear in mind that the Gerber Strongarm is really designed as a combat utility knife. So generally speaking, when you design a combat utility knife, it's really focused on utility first. For a soldier, sailor, airman, somebody who's downrange, who's using this knife, most of the time what they're going to be using it for is utility tasks. And of course, potentially in a less than ideal situation, you might have to pull that knife out and use it to defend yourself. So when a company designs a knife like that, they're not generally thinking about what's going to make the best feather sticks and what's going to strike a Pharaoh the best. That's not really the focus of the knife. So if you're looking for something that's really more bushcraft focused, you're not necessarily going to get all those things in a combat utility knife. But because of the fact that Gerber achieved so much mainstream popularity with the Strongarm, this was sort of their concession to the general public of, okay, we hear people saying they want a higher quality steel. We hear people saying they want something that I can keep a sharper edge on it, that's going to perform better for some of those other tasks. So they came out with this limited run to kind of see, well, is this what people really want? And from my understanding, these knives are selling pretty well so far. I don't even know, honestly, if these are still going to be available by the time I get this video out. But again, I want to get something out as soon as possible so you guys get a chance to kind of see this knife in action. So just to give you guys kind of a quick side-by-side here, you can see on top, obviously this is the new limited edition Strongarm. You have the original Gerber Strongarm here below. Now the particular one I have here does come with serrations, but the original is still available with a straight edge, the same as you see here, but with the limited edition, the straight edge is the only version available. If you're somebody who's more in the mainstream civilian market and maybe you really like the Strongarm, or you've just never bought one because of some of the things you've heard about it, as far as ease of sharpening, maybe it just looked a little too combat-ish to you, this is really trying to appeal to all of you guys. You've got a little more of a mainstream gray color. You can see that they put a stone-washed finish on here as opposed to like the black oxide coating. You're probably really excited to see this because you've got a nice smooth finish. Of course, if you're using this for slicing and batoning, things like that, you're gonna have a little less resistant because you don't have that coating on there. And it's just got kind of a nice, cool look to it. I had to say, it is a nice look. Now, one thing that I definitely need to point out to you guys is that even though it's got a nice look to it, one disadvantage of going with this stone wash is that those hard 90-degree edges that you had on this knife, maybe you already had one and you're used to using that for striking a ferro rod or for scraping wood, things like that, you're not going to be able to do this with this knife unless you modify it. Every single edge on it is smoothed out in the stone washing process. So I've already tried different angles on this blade, different materials. You're not going to get any scrapings or ferro strikes out of this whatsoever. And that particular detail was a little disappointing for me because this was really about the perfect strong arm. The little gripes that I had with the original when it came to the edge, all of those were addressed in this knife. But unfortunately, again, with that stone wash, all the 90s are gone. Now, as far as the edge is concerned though, I mean, this thing came crazy sharp out of the box, way sharper than I remember my original Strongarm coming. I was able to take this thing and shave the hair off my arm like it was nothing. So that was definitely a cool thing to see. And then with just a little bit of touching up with a ceramic sharpener, I was able to take it just a little bit further to get that really, really nice edge on that. And I mean, with just the few days I've had it, kind of playing with it a little bit and playing with sharpening that edge, it definitely responds a lot better to sharpening and honing than the original Strongarm. Alright guys, so enough talking for right now. Let's do a couple of quick demos so you guys can see this thing in action. So just like you would expect from the original Gerber Strongarm, this thing can handle some tougher tasks like batoning. It can also take a little bit of beating without messing up the edge, and it can also do some of the smaller bushcrafty type stuff you would expect. The biggest improvement that I can see and what you would hope to see in this knife, given the upgraded steel, is edge retention. Edge retention is much better. Again, it came sharper out of the box. It's been easier for me to sharpen it up, much less effort. I was able to get a much finer edge on it, and even after immediately going through some a little bit of abuse there with that batoning and just kind of beating that thing on that log, you could see I was still able to shave with it. It was still hair shaving sharp. So very impressed to see that. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference performance-wise you're going to see with this upgraded steel. So is this limited edition Strongarm an improvement over the original? I would have to say yes. And the only complaint I have is that going with this stonewash finish, they knock down those 90-degree edges. So if you're somebody like me who likes to use your knife for striking a ferro, scraping, things like that, that's probably going to be something that's going to bother you too. But for other folks who aren't concerned with that, it's a really, really nice finish. It's a nice look. Again, if you're not trying to go, low profile, subdued finish, you just want a good looking blade, it's definitely a good looking blade. Honestly, Gerber, if you're watching this video, I would suggest go ahead and use this same steel, put this on the rest of your Strongarms with those subdued finishes and the 90-degree spines, and you'll be ready to rock. I definitely think, as far as a test run is concerned, that this steel seems to be a success. So again, thank you guys for watching. This has been our video on the limited edition tactical gray Gerber Strongarm in BDZ-1 stainless steel. If you want to pick up one of these, I would definitely encourage you to jump on it right away. Again, this was a limited run of only 2,000 knives, so I don't expect that they're going to hang around for very long. If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up to keep seeing more content like this. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for watching.